everybody. Hope you're enjoying the RevTech Summit. Very excited for this particular session. My name is Kyle Coleman. I am the CMO at a generative AI startup called Copy.ai. Really excited to talk to you today about automation and efficiency and how you can think about not just the mindset for making this happen at your company, but the tactics and the tooling that you need to make this a practical reality at your company as well. So let's jump right in. Automation and efficiency. First, I want to just make sure you're thinking about the difference or distinction between efficiency and efficacy. Like having efficiency as an end state goal, of course, is a very good thing, but we have seen how only focusing on efficiency is maybe not necessarily going to drive effectiveness or efficacy. And the proof of this is sales automation platforms. Sales automation platforms make it very easy and very efficient for a salesperson to go send thousands of emails if they want to unsuspecting prospects, but they're going to hurt their own email deliverability. They're going to hurt their own organization's ability to send emails, not just individually. And then, of course, they're not going to get great results. So only focusing on efficiency is not the way to think. You need to think both about the efficiency that you can drive via automation and the effectiveness or efficacy of the systems that you design. So keep this in mind. And just remember that more is not always more when it comes to automation. It has to be high quality. Otherwise, you're not going to end up getting the results that you actually are trying to drive. And that is a non-starter. So as you think about what you're trying to automate and where you're trying to drive efficiency, what you're really trying to think through is, where is there friction in the process? Where am I struggling to move the rock up the hill? And more often than not, it's not just moving a big boulder up the hill. Often, moving a big boulder is hard. Often there's all these little things that are getting in the way. It's buckets of stones that I need to get to the end state. And it's these little menial tasks, the mundane, the things that hopefully I shouldn't be spending time on anymore. These are the points of friction in the process. And so what I encourage everybody to think about is try to identify where those little pebbles and sand and little stones are in the process that are causing a lot of friction. And if you can then focus on implementing the right automation, implementing the right efficiencies to remove those small things, you'll open up a lot more time to think strategically, think bigger about the larger things that you can focus on that require more thought, more strategy, more creativity to then go and do. So friction in your or across your go-to-market engine, whether that's in marketing or operations or sales or customer success or whatever it may be, really, really take some time to inspect your processes and understand what's going well and what isn't. Where are we losing time to the rocks and pebbles that we can go and try and find some efficiency and automation for? And as you do this, the recommendation I have for you is to think in flywheels. And so I'll give you a couple examples here of little flywheels that can be created via automation if you can remove the rocks and pebbles from the manual tasks that humans need to create. And this little flywheel I'm going to talk to you about is for content creation. Like, go and inspect what your internal process is for just creating a blog post. It sounds very simple, but I have this conversation with heads of content or demand generation or CMOs all the time, and they tell me, like, to go from ideation for a blog post to actually creation or publication of that blog post is a multi-week exercise that requires 5, 6, 10 different people or handoffs, and it's crazy. So if you can, think about the flywheel you can create by automating some of the steps that right now are taking a human to do. So in this example, you have transcripts from sales calls or from events or from podcasts or something. You have a starting point and you have the transcript from those starting points. Now, instead of an old world where you'd have a human that needs to read the transcript, understand the key points, create a content brief, write a blog post, whatever it may be, you can automate an AI workflow that does all of that. Read the blog post, understand what the aha moments are there, create the content that's based around this sort of, the old way of doing things, the new way of doing things, my company's value prop, create that content, publish that content in a relatively quick way. And of course, you can use AI to design the blog post image. All the images in this deck, by the way, are AI generated. So you can generate the image. You don't need an external design team. You can make sure that it's in your brand voice by using the right AI tools and automate the creation of that content. Now, you may still want a human in the loop to edit that content, to punch it up for SEO, to do other sorts of things. But just by taking that transcript and creating the content, you've stripped out a lot of inefficiency from the process. Now, from there, what's the point of creating content? The point of creating content is to create demand for your product or service or solution. And often the best kind of North Star metric for demand creation is what kind of website traffic are you able to drive? What kind of SEO presence, what kind of LinkedIn or social presence is then driving demand to your website so that you can capture demand. And what does capturing demand do for you? It increases the number of sales calls you have, or you're getting more people to register for events or listening to the podcast or whatever it may be. And that then creates more transcripts and the flywheel feeds itself. So if you can have this system that has this always on flywheel that again is feeding itself, and each of the components of this are as automated as possible, you'll start to drive tremendous amounts of efficiency via automation. So I'm not going to make this a infomercial for Copy AI. You can do this with whatever AI agents you have out there. It's a bit of a manual process if you went and did it with ChatGPT, but it's definitely possible. So try and find, and of course you can and should be doing this with Copy AI, but I want more marketers, more operations people to be thinking this way. And you can use free trials or open source tooling or whatever it is to accomplish a lot of this today. Another flywheel that's really useful is think about the process of lead scoring right now and lead processing. Right now, most companies that are of a certain scale have a fleet of SDRs that are responsible for calling down on leads to qualify them, understand how in market are they, do a little discovery, and then hand those leads off to a salesperson. Well, imagine a universe where you have much better lead scoring that, again, is AI driven. So instead of having a lead scoring model that's built in Marketo or Eloqua or something like that, where you get 5 points if you're a director and you get 6 points if you go to the pricing page and all that, you have an AI definition that's qualitative about what kind of lead are we looking for and what kind of account information are we looking for? And let's combine that into a lead score that hopefully will give our sellers a more narrow pond to fish from that will allow them to catch the bigger fish in a lower effort sort of way. Instead of sending 1,000 leads over the fence that all hit some arbitrary lead score threshold, how about you send 100 of the leads that you have AI enrichment about so you know who they are, their work experience. The AI is doing some thinking and reasoning and saying they're a good fit and you should follow up with them because they're of their work experience and because of here's what's going on inside their company. So better lead scoring should yield more conversations, which will hopefully create more opportunities for you. You'll get more customer insights. So you can then go refine that lead scoring model, again, qualitatively defined via AI, and the flywheel feeds itself. So if you can have these types of things, infuse AI into the areas where there's already a lot of friction or inefficiency, you're going to start to see much, much better and compounding results. And the goal of this, and what's really unique about when you're thinking this way, whether you're an operations person or a marketing person or a sales leader, is that it's all about finding leverage. So kind of a strange AI generated image here, but the goal that what we're trying to be looking at is one person with the right lever can move mountains, move planets in this case. And that's what you can do when you have this mindset of where can we strip friction out of the system, out of the process with some sort of automation, drive efficiency in an effective way that creates this self-reinforcing cycle. And if you can think that way, implement things and work that way, you're going to achieve true go-to-market velocity. This is removing as much friction as possible from the system and truly accelerating your results. This is the promise of what AI can do. And a lot of the problems or the troubles that people have right now is they just don't really understand the art of the possible. So my recommendation to you is you got to take it upon yourself to demystify the art of the possible. Now, solutions like ours and some other AI products out there will help you with, the starter menu of what you need to do, but you need to work with an AI solution or platform that can be customized and bespoke to your unique business. If you try and just do things that are out of the box, you may end up having limited functionality and not being able to have these kind of upstream impacts that have all the downstream effects for all these various processes that you're trying to refine. So really think from a platform orientation, think about customization, extensibility, make sure that you can invent your own use cases with whatever AI tooling you bring on. And hopefully you can have or implement things that are, as I just said, infecting or affecting your processes that are super upstream so that they can have a maximized impact and again drive that more flywheel type approach. And if you can do this, if you bring on the right automation, if you infuse AI in the right ways, what you're doing is you're future proofing your go to market. You're creating these flywheels that are self reinforcing and self learning. You have the AI platform that allows you to invent your own use cases that are bespoke for your business. And you are going to be the one at your company that's future proofing the way you go to market. You know that what you create is not going out of style. What you create is going to be useful. What you create is going to provide leverage across the business. And that is what companies are looking for right now. This is how you truly can do more with less. Focus the human intelligence you have on the highest leverage things, the biggest problems to solve, the biggest strategies that your company is looking to achieve. Automate the menial, automate the mundane, remove the friction. And this is how you're going to create a ton of value for your company. This is how you're going to future-proof your go-to-market. So I hope that's helpful. It's more of a mindset thing. There's a lot of tactical type things built in here. And I hope that you can take this right now and just go sit for a moment, think, be critical about your processes, find ways to remove friction from those processes, and hopefully provide a ton of leverage for your business. There you have it. RevTech Summit. Hope this was a useful session for you all. If you have any questions, if I can help in any way, please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. I'm just Kyle Coleman. Give me a shout. Happy to answer any questions I can. And of course, if you want to see the way that we are actually implementing a lot of these sort of flywheel approaches inside of our own company, leveraging our platform, we'd be more than happy to show you how. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of the summit.